Hey, SongTown, here's 10 things that scream you are an amateur songwriter. Not you, someone else.
No screaming.
No screaming. Hey, I'm Clay Mills, Marty Dodson here. I'm going to start it off, Marty. I'll call this all stats and no story.
Okay.
So a lot of times when I'm reviewing songs in SongTown for members, they'll be all excited. It'll be, let's take, for instance, a subject matter. We're writing a beach song. And they'll be all excited to send me this beach song. And throughout it, they've listed flip-flops and Ray-Bans and white sand and tequila and salt on the lips and all this description of beach life.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no emotional story that makes me care about what the song is about.
Right.
You know, another way they say that in Nashville is furniture. It has so much furniture of these details like,
Right.
Cuervo gold and a blue chair you're sitting in or whatever. It's got so much detail and furniture that, and the writer's all excited because they've thought of a million different beach things and put it all in this one song. But you got to have something that makes you care about the song. That we used to say, what's going to make me care? What's the give a crap? I would say the give a
Yeah.
But what's the give a crap factor of this song? Are people going to care about the song?
Yeah.
And so I think more than the detail, that song's story, what the song's about, how it makes you feel has to kind of come first. But then, you need some detail in there too.
Yeah. I think I know where that comes from a lot of times too. I don't know how many songwriting seminars I sat in when I was trying to learn how to do this, where they said, well, first thing you should do is take out a piece of paper and write down every word you can think of that goes with that topic.
Put it in this circle.
Yeah, exactly.
And then draw another circle over here. And none of us write that way.
That can be a useful exercise if you're stuck, but you don't want to just take all those words and put them in a bag and shake them up and that's your song. Like you said, you've got to have something deeper, that there's a story here. We're telling a story.
Do they still have shake and bake where you put chicken and all the ingredients in a bag and you shake it up and then you have wonderful chicken?
Yeah.
But songs don't work that way.
Not at all.
It's not a shake and bake process.
Not at all. So number 2 is if you say to someone, my songs are better than the ones on the radio, they're going, amateur. And, we used to go to a festival where this same guy would come up to us every year and hand us the same CD with the same 10 songs. And he would say, I'm so frustrated. These songs are better than anything on the radio. And I remember one year you finally said, how many people have you played these for in the industry? And he said, probably 20. And you said, so all 20 told you they're not better than the ones on the radio, but year after year after year, you think they are, know? And
instead of going and writing 10 more songs and taking those back. Yeah. Because if you go to a publisher and you're decent and they don't take anything from you, a lot of times they say, hey, my door's open. Bring me another 10 songs, in a few months from now, and let's hear those.
Yeah.
So instead, he kept taking the same 10 songs around, hoping to find someone that got his music.
Right.
And people aren't going to get your music. It's usually not one person that gets it is what I want to say. It's usually if you have a great song, everybody that hears it is fighting over that song. That's what you want to try to write is one of those songs. If you have a song that's a good song, but you have to search for 20 years to find one person that likes it, write some more songs.
We haven't had a guy one time say, well, why write more if I've already got some that are better than the ones on the radio and I can't get them on there, and you want to go, maybe they're not better than the ones on the radio and you need to write some new ones.
Okay, so I just want to say to all of you listening, I have been this guy in the past. When I was young and proud, I thought I knew everything. I thought my songs were better than the radio. But after having my lunch handed to me a few times by people going, no, they're, they're not better.
Yeah.
I had two choices. Either I could get better or I could be bitter and say, well, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I think that's our point. We're only saying this to help you realize if you feel like that is you, if you're walking around thinking, oh, my songs are better, it's not a competition. Every day you wake up, you should be thinking not that my songs are better. You should be thinking, I'm going to write a great song today, And great songs will open doors and they will find a way,
Yeah, I think all of us have written songs that we thought at the time were better than some things we heard on the radio.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating when other people tell us they aren't. But if enough people tell us that, we have to go, okay, I need to go back to the drawing board and work on some new stuff.
And you may have a great song and you might have some resistance to it. I mean, I know cases where I've had songs recorded 10 years after I wrote them, and some of it was timing. It fit into what was going on today, but it didn't 10 years ago. It might have been too progressive, So part of it's timing, but I think what we're trying to say is if you keep getting that same response, then just start working more and focusing more on writing great songs.
Absolutely. You got another one for us?
Pronoun MixUp.
Whoa.
We don't have to talk a lot about this because we do talk a lot about it, and you're the lyric meister. But I know that for me, pronouns, when I hear a song that's like talking about you, and then it gets to the chorus and it says, well, she's the, and I'm like, wait a minute, are you talking about a new girl to your old girl? Are you, is it the same person, but you've now mixed up your pronouns? Like, I think that's one thing that is a simple fix. When you're done writing your song, go back and look and see if you mixed up your pronouns.
Yeah.
Because if you send songs out like that, it just screams amateur.
And somebody asked me one time if that was a songwriting rule, and I said, no, it's a bad communication.
Yes.
So if I'm talking to my wife and I'm saying, I love you so much, she's a great partner, she's going to go, wait, who's a partner? And so it's just confusing. So it's not a songwriting rule. It's just a confusing way to communicate.
And I think we sometimes do that because we're writing and something sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you sounds better than she, but the rest of the song is she. And so we're getting it, but it sounds good, and we get locked into that. But yeah, at some point you have to straighten it out.
And the next one is similar. It's time jumping. So
isn't that a band that plays at the exit in?
Maybe,
the Time Jumpers?
Maybe so. But, it's a more advanced songwriting thing to write a song that travels through time clearly. So if you're doing that, you have to pay real close attention to, am I moving through time clearly, or am I jumping to future and past and present? And it's really hard to see where you are. And the fix for that a lot of times is just to stay in a moment. Write a song about one moment where you're not having to do that.
Yeah. And I think if you're going to write, it's hard to jump back and forth. It's easier if it's a story song where you're starting off, the kid's 10 years old, then he's like going off to college, then he's getting married. Like there's a logical progression.
Right.
But when you're jumping around with no reference point to let people know what's going on, that it gets really difficult to nail. And I don't want to tell people don't write songs that jump back and forth. But man, is it hard to pull off. So it might require a lot more work. You're going to have to get feedback and, ask people, is this working? Is it confusing?
Mm-hmm.
And if it is confusing to people, then go back and rewrite.
Yeah. What's the next one, Clay?
Time jumping, slave to the rhyme.
Whoa.
So I was on this event. It was kind of a group setting where it was a group of people that weren't songwriters wanted to have this experience of writing a song. So we were writing, and I noticed they were all like pulling out on their phone rhyming dictionaries going, okay, well, we've got to rhyme with slave. So knave, pave, they're so obsessed with finding the rhyme that
they don't care what it says.
Yeah, so finally I just had to say, well, what are we trying to say here? And then once it became clear what we were trying to say, it was easy to find a way to make it rhyme. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
But I think people get so caught up in trying to find the rhyme without even knowing what they're saying. So that always screams like amateur to me.
Absolutely. So my next one would be don't complain about access being your number one problem.
Oh.
And I always tell people in Songtown, if I hear an amazing song from you, I'll play it for everybody I know in the music business.
Yeah.
Access is not the big problem. The big problem is writing a hit song, you know? And so if you're going around going, well, I just can't get anybody to listen to my songs, join Songtown. Pros listen to your songs, and any pro that hears a great song is going to pass it on to publishers or artists and those kind of things.
So what you're saying is, contrary to popular amateur belief, that getting your song heard is not the hardest part of the music business.
Right.
It's actually writing a song worthy of being heard.
Yeah.
And when we get songs, you know, last year at our Songtown birthday bash, we had someone play a song for our publishing panel. And man, there's 150 writers in the room. Everyone in the room, you could have heard a pin drop. This song was so amazing that it moved everybody in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's 3 publishers there that wanted to possibly sign that song.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're talking about when we say write a song that is that obvious, that is that great. That's
Right.
what you're trying to write. That song is easy to get to the industry.
Yeah.
You know. But if you have a song that doesn't move the needle in a room, then but so I think sometimes it's an excuse, you know, oh, I could make it if I just had the right connections. No, if you had the right songs, you would get the right connections.
And I might have used that excuse in the past. I'm just saying, you know,
right. Yeah.
Maybe.
This is tough love because we've been there.
Yeah.
And so we want to snap you, if you're falling victim to this, we want to snap you out of that. If you can't get your songs heard in the music business, hit us up. We'll help you. But believe me, you first got to have good songs. Then Songtown can help you.
Got to have great songs.
Great songs. Then Songtown can help you.
Yeah.
Then this follows my next tip. Same old same. If you're writing songs that sound like every other song out there, you know, people go, well, all the songs on radio sound the same. Well, first of all, that's not true. If you listen to the top 10 songs right now in pop or the top 10 songs in country right now, there's a lot of different styles there. I think it got that way for a while, but now I think more than ever, I'm hearing a lot of different styles of music. But if you're trying to just write what you think will get on radio, and you're not putting your own voice, your own sound, your own style into it, then I don't think you have a prayer cracking through. Because if Ashley Gorley's writing, 10 hits this year, they're going to call him if they want that sound.
Yeah.
He's proven that. They're not going to call you to come up with his sound.
And if you write titles like "I Love You," and the A&R person has got "I Love You" or "Beer Never Broke My Heart," they're going to go, I'm going to check out "Beer Never Broke My Heart" because I've heard 1,000 "I Love You" songs.
Right.
And so that's kind of what we're talking about, is that you got to be fresh and you got to have something that makes you stand out.
Yeah.
The next one for me would be too many ideas. And I heard Smokey Robinson one time say, they asked him what the best songwriting advice he ever got was. And he said, Berry Gordy sat me down one day and he said, son, your songs are about 5 things. I want you to write a song about one thing. And he pointed out, he was like, you could make 5 songs out of this one song. So, just the idea that most of the time a song is about one thing. And if you can boil it down to what is that one thing, then you can have a great song, and so watch putting too many ideas into your song, too many different kinds of things. And the blueprinting idea that I teach in Songtown is one way to kind of keep from doing that. It keeps you focused on what's the one thing I'm trying to communicate in every section of my song.
Yeah, having that one central feeling, one moment in time, one central feeling, those things really get your song focused. And then the listener knows how to feel when they listen to your song. If you've got too much going on, the listener just doesn't know how to feel. And you're not going to elicit, tears. You're not going to elicit great joy. You're not going to make somebody want to, change their life if you've got 10 things, 10 possibilities in a song going on.
And sometimes it's not even clear what the singer is feeling.
Yeah,
It's like this singer's all over the place.
Even if the singer is choking up as they're singing and they sound so emotional, if the song isn't backing them up, then, it doesn't matter. It's just a great singer singing something that you kind of, the singer's going through it, but you don't feel it.
Right. Exactly. All right, number 9, what you got?
Contrast.
Whoa.
This works on so many levels, lyrically, musically. And what I mean by that, a lot of songs I see that come through SongTown are kind of one-dimensional. Let's start with lyrics first. My first Darius Rucker cut, the verse was all about, I drove out in a cloud of dust. He's leaving this girl, and he's not looking back. He's determined he's not going to look back. But then when he gets to the chorus, he goes, but don't think I don't think about it. Don't think I don't have regret. You're like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. Mm-hmm. Because the verse is just all about him leaving. He's not looking back. Then you hit the chorus and you're like, oh yeah, he did leave her, but now he has all this grit. So there's contrast.
Right.
Whereas if the whole song started out, I left out in a cloud of dust, but sometimes I wonder if I made the right decision. By the time you get to the chorus, you're like, okay.
You gave it all away.
Yeah, you gave it all. Don't give it away. So I think having that contrast, even like with the title of your song, having a setup line that's contrasting before you hit that setup line. Can you think of an example of that?
No. Can you?
Yeah, I can. So the title is The Song Remembers When. The setup line is, even if the whole world has forgotten, the song remembers when. It's like, whoa, and it's contrast. Yeah. Forgotten, remember. It's opposites. So I think whether you're writing a lyric, it's important. Musically, I think it's even more important. I know this video is getting long for us.
We're going to hurry.
We'll talk about melody contrast another time.
Okay.
But this whole idea of not having enough contrast in your songs really says that you need to level up if you're going to hit that pro level.
Yeah. I did think of one song. It's called The Elephant Song by Gene Cotton. And you should check it out if you've never heard that song. It's kind of an obscure song, but it's talking about going to the zoo with this girl and what a great day they had. And then later they broke up and he goes back to the zoo to try to feel that again. And he's like, the monkey forgot you, the polar bear and tiger too. But me and the elephant, we still remember you. So it's got that contrast.
Yeah.
The last one, and this one will be quick. On your lyric sheet, you can make yourself look like an amateur if you're not careful. And that includes putting things like all the organizations you're a part of, like SongTown. Yeah. So we would love for you to advertise SongTown. It makes you look like an amateur if you put I'm in NSAI and SongTown and all these other organizations. People don't need to know that. And
they're busy, publishers, artists, producers, they're busy. They don't need to look on your sheet and wade through the top where it says all these organizations. They want to let that song speak to them or not speak to them.
Yeah.
So you don't need to put all this, and I know you want to give yourself credibility, let people know that, hey, I'm serious about this, but really when you're giving songs to busy professionals, that's not gonna, it's just a waste of their time. So.
And you don't need your picture on there either. I mean,
no.
That can,
definitely not.
That can make them know, oh, this person's really young or this person's older, maybe they're not cool or what, so that stuff can just prejudice people against your song. And like Clay was saying, let your song speak for itself. Put your contact information so they can contact you. You can put your PRO because that's what they need to know to pay you if they want to cut your song. But other than that, you don't need to put any other organizations or, John Lennon Song Contest winner. They don't care about that.
I've never heard anyone in the music business go, who won the last song contest? Let's call them and see if they've got any songs. Yeah. That's not a thing in the music business. So I'm not saying don't do contests, but just know we had a member in Songtown that called us up and said, hey, I just won X contest. What can I expect this to do for my career? And, it didn't ultimately do anything for his career, but it did verify to him that, hey, I'm on the right track here.
Yeah, it's validation.
Yeah, it's validation. So let it be that for you, but it's not something you advertise or put on your resume, because the music business isn't really going to care if you won a contest.
Right.
They just want to hear a great song.
All right, that was 10 things. Man. Check out our show notes for our sponsor, Sweetwater. They're great for gear, instruments, all that kind of stuff. Got other links in there to books in Songtown, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.